Most people don't realize how much of their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making millions pulling details about you from public records and the internet, then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might just sell credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/hidden. Protect yourself now at aura.com/hidden.
Welcome to the Wired for Success podcast, your show for ambitious, mission-driven entrepreneurs who understand that there's more to entrepreneurship than finding the latest flash-in-the-pan strategies, who understand that in order to build your empire, you need a solid foundation. I wholeheartedly believe that entrepreneurship is the biggest self-development journey you can be on, and it's my mission to help you make that journey easier. In this show, I bring together the very best from science, self-development, and entrepreneurship to set you up for sustainable success. Hi, I'm Claudia Garbutt, the scientist and mindset coach behind this show, and you're listening to the Wired for Success podcast. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Wired for Success podcast. Today, I'm excited to talk to strategic business coach Henriette Danel, who helps professional female entrepreneurs to get more high-paying clients continuously without pushing too hard. I have invited her because she's got this amazing skill to take anything complicated, dissect it, and put it back together in such a way that it's easy to understand and implement. So welcome, Henriette, and thank you so much for being on my show today.
Oh, brilliant. Well, thank you so much for having me, Claudia. I'm really excited to be here and share some amazing stuff for your audience.
Oh, great. I'm really looking forward to talking with you too, and to learn more about you and about your business. So why don't we start by telling us what inspired you to become a strategic business coach for female entrepreneurs?
Oh my gosh. I think this is everybody's story where they go like, where do I begin?
Yeah.
But I think in so many ways, to make it very short, I'm originally South African. And I always joke and say I was plucked from the bush because I'm from a very small town that had one traffic light that was always green. So growing up in this town, you know, it's the loneliest thing in so many ways, but also I've been very fortunate in more ways than one. But you kind of grow up with a mindset about who am I to do something different? Who am I to, go abroad, to live abroad, to start my own business? You don't think about these things, especially when you're going through all those years of going through school and teenagers. But I always knew that one day I wanted to become an entrepreneur and have my own business. Life took over. I ended up in the UK, worked for 15 years in the interior design industry, loved it. But then I kind of hit a ceiling where I couldn't really go much further in the company. I mean, I was already one of the top managers, and I thought, you know what, the signs are showing I need to do something different. I didn't want to go and start or go into another career opportunity where I had to prove myself, work my way all the way to the top again. And I thought, you know what, things are just really progressing in a way where I'm being almost kind of forced to look at the options of becoming an entrepreneur. So as you do, you start your research, you start thinking about what kind of business you can start. And with all the skills and the strengths I had, I knew that I'm very good at teaching, very good at helping people. I'm very good at basically fixing problems. That was the one skill that I was very good at. And I wanted to know how to incorporate that. So with the time I spent developing, looking at things, strategic business coach really just kind of evolved from that. Now, I was doing all of this while working full time. So I wanted to figure out first where I was heading before just saying, okay, I'm stopping here. I'm cutting off my 9 to 5, cutting off, my paycheck, and I'm doing this full time. But it got to a point where I was like, oh my gosh, this is really working. I was starting to get clients. Things were really panning out for me. But I realized my time was too stretched. So I needed to make a decision. And I remember very well, my husband and I was driving in France for Christmas. We were driving to a couple of friends over there. And that night I said to him, I think I'm going to quit my job. And he kind of stopped and he was like, okay, are you sure? Did you think this through? And I was like, absolutely. I've been thinking this through for the last year and a half, 2 years almost. I'm going to quit my job. And I did. And that new year, I walked back into the office and I quit my job. My boss was crying. I was crying. But I just knew it was the right decision. And 4 years on, I'm looking at this thinking, oh my gosh, it's the best decision I've ever made. And I just love what I do. I've got such a passion for meeting incredible people like yourself. But, you know, becoming a strategic business coach, I think is a journey that took me from just an idea to a dream, to a goal. And to having accomplished that and realizing this is not where the dream ends, you still have so much more out there and you're still going on an incredible journey. And I think that's what I discovered with other people. Everybody is going on their own journey, but if you look left and right of you, you have people walking there next to you on their own paths. And that's what's so incredible. And that's why I'm just so tremendously fulfilled with what I'm doing.
Oh, I love that story. That's beautiful. But as you and I know, the entrepreneurial journey is often a roller coaster. Has that been your experience as well? And if so, could you share some of the specific struggles or challenges you faced and how you overcame them?
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny that you say that. I always use the analogy and say being an entrepreneur is like a noodle in a bowl of soup. It is going up and down, left and right, coming back on itself. You just never know where it's going to end. Yeah. But I think that's the most incredible thing, because even though you're in this bowl of soup, you're still being nurtured. You're still going on a journey, even though it's up and down and you're coming back and you're feeling, you know, 1 step forward, 10 steps back. Where I always joke and I say, well, it's not really a joke, but I say this fairly a lot. When you sign up for entrepreneurship, you actually sign up for a lot of self-development. Nobody teaches us that. You just discover it for yourself. And each and every one of us go on this, like I said, this journey. But most people think that by becoming an entrepreneur and starting a business is this whole thing that you're going to run. It's going to make you some money. You're going to enjoy it, etc. And this is going to be your business. But that's not the case, because starting a business is really discovering yourself, discovering who you are, what your skills are, what your strengths are. And only once you go on that journey and you're open to receive and open to learn more about yourself, only then can you take that and implement in your business. Only that's then when businesses become a success. But like I said, nobody teaches us these things. So you need to be very open-minded when you're going into business that, hey, you're not signing up just to run a business. You're signing up for self-development. You're signing up to go on a journey. You don't know where that journey is taking you, but if you're open-minded to just go for it, it is really going to take you on a roller coaster. But the end destination, that thrill that you're going to have at the end of accomplishing something, is by far the most amazing reward. So yes, when it comes to starting a business, I've made all the mistakes. And I think the biggest one of it was when I decided, hey, I'm going to try out everything. Oh my goodness. Did I have the shiny object syndrome? I went and I did everything and I tried out everything. And the best part is I got so overwhelmed, I didn't see a single result. So when I started my business, I thought, this is it, I'm going to do this. But when I quit my job and I went full time into my business, that's where I thought, okay, now I've got the time, I can do everything. Not having any results after quite some time just made me think like, maybe I made a mistake. You know, this is maybe where I need to go back and ask my job back, which just felt like a punch in the stomach, because, you know, feeling like you failed basically. But at the end, I realized that one of the biggest mistakes I made, looking back now, hindsight is a great thing, is that I tried to do too many things. I should have just stuck with what I started with and used that kind of strategy, that principle, whatever you want to call it, and just rolled it over and use it again and again and again, because I was on the right track. But then I started diluting myself and I started going doing everything, trying out everything. And yeah, overwhelm quickly set in. And I think that's a mistake so many other entrepreneurs make as well, because we do get sidetracked. We do hear that, oh my gosh, Instagram is the best thing at the moment, you know, oh no, Facebook groups is where you got to be. No, you got to do podcasting. Podcasting is definitely the best way. And yeah, we do get distracted. But this is where I find that I haven't been listening to my own advice. I'm very good at solving problems, but I haven't been solving my own problem, which is simplifying things. Business is there to have fun. You just got to simplify it and not overcomplicate it.
So true. So true. Yeah, we are so much on the same page, because I always like to say that entrepreneurship is kind of like the biggest self-development journey you can be on, because you have to discover where your strengths and where your weaknesses are, and you have to go really deep into what motivates you, because otherwise you can't face those challenges, or you always hit a block and the ceiling, and you just can't move forwards and you can't grow. So there's always the next level devil that you have to defeat in order to grow your business and grow as a person. So yeah, I love that.
Yeah, no, it is an incredible journey. But I think as long as we're all open-minded to the fact, like you say, it's a roller coaster, and realize there's going to be good days, realize there's not going to be so many good days, but it's what you make of it at the end of the day, and how you use that to your advantage. That's where the difference comes in.
Yeah, I think it's learning how to deal with stress and learning how to stay flexible and to perform under pressure. That's, I think, the main things that will set you apart, or sets apart the successful entrepreneur from the not so successful entrepreneur in the long term.
Absolutely.
So, for all the listeners out there who might want your help, can you describe your ideal client for us? Who do you like to attract and help?
Oh, yes. Okay. So, well, in particular, I do work with female entrepreneurs in the service-based industry, only because I feel there's a good connection between females. So I find this as well, especially in the entrepreneurial world. Men tend to work with men, and some females tend to work with female entrepreneurs. And I don't know why that is, but it's quite good. So yes, I do work with men as well. I have clients that are men, but in particular, I just feel there's a great connection with women. So the reason why I say women in particular who are in the service-based industry is because one thing that I'm very good at is helping them to get more clients continuously. And I feel it's all to do with, number one, the energy we all have. I mean, if you and I can have a conversation and we can feel it here, we've got a great sense of energy between us just by having this amazing conversation. And that's the number one thing that I'm looking for. Somebody who's very on the same level as me, who can feel my energy, who can feel that I'm excited and passionate, who can dive into that and feel like, oh my gosh, this is something that I can hold on to. There's somebody who's really enthusiastic, who's going to motivate and inspire me. But also I'm looking for somebody who's very much the same mindset as me. Mm-hmm. I mean, yes, maybe I am a little bit of a spiritual person. I do believe in the universal laws, and I do believe in energy and mindset and all of those kind of things that you have to look in internally as well. And this is part of the self-development that we go through as well, mind you. But working with women in particular, I wouldn't say specific niche or an industry, because we're all different in what we're doing. We all have different skills and different flexibilities. I mean, sometimes I meet women, I'm going, what? That's a thing? And you've got a business in that? I would have never even thought about that. That's just crazy. But that's what I love. I love just having that connection with people who are all over the world doing the most incredible things, who's got the same mindset, same kind of energy as I am. And that's why I'm one of those kind of believers who just go, you know what? I don't believe in competition. If you and I were supposedly doing the exact same thing in the same niche or industry, I would say, actually, you know what, let's collaborate. I would rather collaborate with people. I feel that there's abundance, there's enough for everyone. So one of the big entities of my business is not just to coach clients, but I do lots of collaborations with other female entrepreneurs. And I've got projects and events that I'm running every year, because I feel it is not just about me giving to clients, but it's about me working and collaborating with other people who are very like-minded than I am. So I'm not seeing myself as somebody who's on a pedestal. I see myself as somebody who's equal to a lot of other people. So it just depends. I mean, at the end of the day, my perfect client is the person who really connects with me and who really feels that, hey, you know, if you can help me, then I'd love to work with you. So it's all about the attraction and who you are as an authentic person. You don't have to go and just pretend to be anybody else rather than who you just really and truly are.
And that is very important, because I think a lot of people, when they start out, they think they have to be someone else in order to be successful. But that usually leads to, well, it doesn't make them happy. Let's put it like that. Because if you work with people, or if you attract the wrong kind of people, then it won't make you happy in the long run. And you always have to pretend. And that is very, very energy consuming.
Yeah.
So just be yourself is probably the best advice you can give anyone, right? But talking about those entrepreneurs that you help, what would you say is maybe the number one thing that those creative entrepreneurs struggle with?
Definitely overwhelm.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
That's what I'm seeing too.
Absolutely overwhelm. And I think, like I said, I think it's a journey that we all have to discover to go on, because I'm not saying it's a mistake that I made. It's a lesson. And I don't believe in mistakes. I always refer to lessons, because, oh my goodness, I learned so much while going through that phase of having the shiny object syndrome, as I like to call it. By going through that phase, I kind of delved into so many different things and aspects of what business could be like, what strategies, what options there are available, what different platforms there are, especially online. And I learned so much. But the end of the day is you've got to come to a point where you go like, okay, I've got to put my foot down now. I can't keep on dwindling and faffing around trying to figure out what is the next best thing, because there will always be a next best thing. You've got to figure out what works with you, what is aligned with you, and then take those elements and take what you've learned, hone in on your skills. And oh my gosh, this is one of the things that I think is so important for entrepreneurs to understand, is you've got to figure out what your skills are, where your strengths lie, because you can't have it all. Where your strengths lie, that's what you've got to develop on. That's where you've got to align what you want to do, how you want to build your business, and how congruent you want to be with that. And the skill sets and the strengths that you don't have, also those you need to understand, and you need to go like, okay, I don't have those kind of skills. I'm not a techie person. Okay, if I'm not a techie person, I can't develop my own website. Let me find somebody who is. Let me find somebody who can do this for me. I'm not somebody who's very good, doing podcasts, but I love blogging. Let me try and do blogging. This is this thing that I'm strong at. I'm very good at putting words together. And I think once you kind of go on this journey, and once you discover that you don't have to do everything, simplify it, bring it back down to basics, and put everything in line that you feel happy with, that you feel you enjoy doing. Oh my gosh, this is where the fun begins, because now you can just take this and you can really go to town with it. As a simple example, talking about podcasting, one of the strategies that I teach my clients is your attraction strategy. It's really very much to do with the content that you're putting out there in order to attract your clients. So the way you put content out there, you can do blogging, podcasting, videos, all those kind of things, all those kind of, entities are there. But not everybody loves videos. Not everybody loves blogging. I tried blogging and I failed dramatically because I am not very good at it. It's not one of my passions. It's not one of my strengths. But podcasting, I love talking, and my husband would absolutely agree if he was right here, right now. But I love talking. I love having that conversation with people. And that's how my podcast evolved. And that's where I realized that's my passion. That's where I completely feel like I'm blossoming. And that is my strategy. That is one of the things that I'm including. All the other stuff, I don't have to worry about it because it's not aligned with me. So for anybody listening or watching this right now, don't be overwhelmed by trying to do everything. Simplify it for yourself. And once you simplify it, you're actually going to see how much fun you actually can have in business, and also how quickly results will start showing up for yourself.
Yeah, that is great. I mean, I'm not sure if we can entirely eliminate the overwhelm phase in the beginning because I think everyone has to try different things to find what is really working for them, right?
Yeah.
So there's probably always a little bit of this overwhelm phase in the beginning where they are just trying everything and it's like the spaghetti throwing at the walls and seeing what sticks. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we can just make this a shorter period of time, you condense it and just say, okay,
Yes.
I'm going to try different things, but then I'm going to focus and I'm going to hone in on just one thing and develop that strategy until it's perfected and it's working really well. Now, since you specialize in helping your entrepreneurs get more high quality leads, can you share some of your favorite lead gen strategies that you're using right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I normally just go by what I call the 4 strategies. So I'm just quickly going to run through them so just people understand what I'm referring to. So normally people say to me, what kind of strategy are you using? Is there a one fits all strategy, or is there like 100 strategies that I need to implement in my business? And like I said, we don't want to get overwhelmed here. We want to simplify it. So the 4 strategies that I normally teach is your visibility strategy is your first strategy. Again, this is about how you're showing up, how often you're showing up. And I normally talk about the 3 C's here, about clarity. Again, how are you going to show up? I talk about commitment. You've got to commit to what you're deciding to do in order to show up. And then consistency. How often are you going to show up? Now, this could be anything from social media. What are you doing in order to enhance your website to become more visible online? Are you getting featured? Are you speaking in public? What are the things that you're doing in order to become more visible? And I'm referring generally online, but obviously, when things get better, people will go back to networking again, which is again, very, very powerful. So for me in particular, when I look at how I become more visible, I would say just choose 1 or 2 things. Don't overcomplicate it. So if you decide just to enhance your website and use that in order to become visible, great. What is your strategy there? If you're using social media, don't do everything. Just maybe choose Instagram, maybe just choose Facebook or LinkedIn. If you're getting featured, where do you want to get featured? How often do you want to get featured? Public speaking is another thing, not just, physically when you're standing on a stage, but showing up on videos and things like that can also be perceived as public speaking. So choose 1 or 2 strategies that work for you to become more visible. Then that leads to the second strategy, attraction. Like I said earlier on, what kind of content are you putting out there that resonates with people, that attract them back to who you are and what you're doing? So any piece of content from a blog post, podcast, videos, whatever kind of content you're putting out there needs to resonate with people. And again, it becomes that same kind of principle as to being authentic, being who you are. That leads to your third strategy, relationship. How are you building relationships with people? How are you communicating? Are you asking questions? Are you listening? But that literally walks hand in hand again with being authentic and selling authentically. Because once you've sold your product or your service, that again leads to the 4th strategy, the transformation. You're taking that client from where they are to where they want to be. But if you look at those kind of 4 strategies, it walks back into a circular form where it finishes again with the visibility strategy. Because once you've taken clients through transformation, you really then have recurring clients because you've helped them. They give you amazing reviews. They give you referrals, again, which enhances your visibility. So I think if you look at the visibility, attraction, relationship, and transformation strategies, and you implement all of those to work together, it's like I said, it's very simple to really attract clients in that way. It doesn't just happen with just doing one thing. They all have to complement each other, and they've got to complete the circle in their entirety. But at the end of the day, comes back to who you are and who you want to attract.
Great. And I love it that you have a 3C strategy, because I have one that I call 3C strategy as well, but mine stand for confidence, concept, and clarity.
Exactly. It's the same principle. And I love that. I need to meet somebody who's got B's or D's or something going else. But no, I love it. And I think it comes back to just, like we said in the beginning, who you are authentically. You don't need to be perceived as somebody else. You just need to be you're unique. You've got your own smile, your own way of thinking, your own way of talking. And who you are as a being, that's what attracts people to you. I mean, that's how we go through life. That's how you make your school friends. That's how you meet boyfriends and partners and business partners. That's how you make friends in general in the same vicinity as you're in. And the same goes for your clients. So whoever you are will help you to attract those right people to you.
So true. Now I'm curious. Could you tell us a little bit more about the vision that you have for your own business? So where do you want to take your business, say, within the next 1 or 2 years?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, I'd love to just really expand. I mean, one of the things that I'm very passionate about is I am a public speaker as well. So I've been on stages, I've been in front of crowds, and I do miss that, especially now these days. So one of the things that I'm really looking forward to is getting back out there and standing in front of bigger crowds, going to bigger events, and just really sharing my story and enhancing my business as well. You know, I've got a few VAs that work for me, a few people that I employ outside of the company, of course. But I really want to embrace that and start expanding my company in a sense as well, where I can get more employees, people working with me, and building on the vision that I have in order to just go and do amazing things and meet amazing people all over the world. Because I think that's, at the end of the day, why we're all on this planet, not in the planet, why we're all on the planet, is to really just reach out and connect with one another.
So yeah, since my mission is always to, highlight different ways of thinking and approaching those goals that you set for yourself, would you mind outlining your personal strategy for achieving that goal? So public speaking is probably one of the strategies that you're going to use. What else are you going to use to grow your business?
I really want to see my podcast taking off. I mean, it's already internationally well known. But I really wanted to take off because I think that's where my personality and who I am is very much strongly protruded through. Mm-hmm. So I want my podcast to be really becoming one of those where they can say top 10 international podcasts. Yay. So if I can achieve that, I would be thrilled to bits. But in a way, not just to say, hey, I've been in the top 10 international podcasts in whatever category, but to say that it shows and it means that what I'm giving to the people out there resonate with them, and they feel they can really take the golden nuggets and implement it in their lives and in their business. So that would be the aim for me, and that would be the pinnacle of all pinnacles for me.
Perfect. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for your podcast, but I'm sure you're going to get there. So my last question for you today would be, where can our listeners find you online if they want to connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my website is very easy. It's just Henriette Danel. And Danel is French, so it's not Daniel. HenrietteDanel.com. So I am available just there, or on Instagram, the same name, Facebook as well, Henriette Danel. Easy to find that. I don't think there's any other Henriette Danel on planet Earth, to be honest. So Google me, you can easily find me. And then also, to make it easy for the audience, for those who want to know how to get more clients, I've got an amazing resource guide, which is available on my website. And there's 30 resources and what you can do to attract more clients continuously. So by all means, just go and help yourself to it.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm going to put the link in the show notes to make it easier for people to find. And with that, thank you so much for taking the time to be on my show today, Danielle and Henriette. I'm so sorry about that. And for sharing your valuable insights. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure our audience will too. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and talk to you soon.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Wired for Success podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please take a sec to rate and review my show. It would mean the world to me because you'd help me reach more entrepreneurs like yourself who would love this show. If you'd like to learn more about creating a widely successful business without sacrificing your health, relationships, or sanity, make sure to stick around and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes. And why don't you help me spread the word and share this show with your friends? I'd really appreciate it, and I'm sure your friends will too. Want to continue this conversation, build real relationships, and join a community of like-minded entrepreneurs? Come join my free Facebook community for visionary entrepreneurs. I would love to see you there. In the meantime, if you haven't done so already, grab my free brain priming audio file for entrepreneurs and start priming your brain for success in less than 5 minutes each morning. Curious? You can learn more about how this works and download the audio file at www.wiredforsuccess.solutions. Until next time, bye!